What's up, everyone? Jacob Roach finally back from the Killing Joke Studios and Mixing with Metal. I know it has been absolutely forever since I've made a video. I'm sorry. I've been really busy recording, doing that kind of stuff, and hopefully I can make more videos. So just a big shout out to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. We've actually reached 100 subscribers already, which is kind of what prompted me to come back out. I didn't know that people were actually watching these videos. I just kind of made them for fun. And so, yeah, thank you to everyone who subscribed, and just tell your friends about it, share the videos around, and tell your friends to subscribe as well so I could do more stuff like this because I really do enjoy doing it. So you might notice that we're not in Pro Tools today, we're in Cubase, and the reason for that is I've kind of been back and forth on whether I want to be in Pro Tools or whether I want to be in Cubase because, to be quite frank, just lately in sessions, Pro Tools has been giving me a lot of issues, crashing and stuff like that. And so I'm just trying out Cubase. This is just the Elements version. I have the full version in the mail right now with my licensor. So once I get that, I'm going to try some sessions in there, and I might end up moving full over to Cubase eventually. But anyway, I just got the session that I started in Elements. This is by no means a finished session. We just have scratch tracks, some drums, and a little bit of rhythm. We don't even have all the rhythms done. We just have a little bit. So these aren't edited or anything like that. But I just wanted to share with you some tips on EQing guitar. Now, like I said, these aren't finished guitars. These are just an amp sim. I just have Menace here. Joey Sturgis, Tone Forge, Menace. That's what I use for tracking. And then I use Amplitude because the tuner in Menace kind of sucks. So I use the tuner here. And if you can see, everything else is bypassed. And so, yeah, I've been just kind of tracking these. I track with the amp sim, and then I reamp later through my 6505. And I just wanted to share with you kind of what I'm doing to treat these guitars. So let me just go ahead and play them for you really quick, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So yeah, nothing special there. They're, like I said, it's just an amp sim, just for tracking, not edited, nothing like that. And the reason I wanted to bring this up, though, is because I have some EQ going on here. And I just kind of want to tell you this philosophy of why I'm doing this so early in the phase, early in the process, why I'm EQing already, and kind of what my mentality is behind doing this EQ. So let me go ahead and take that out, and then I'll bring it back in and show you what it sounds like. So you should hear quite a noticeable difference between those two. And what I'm doing here is really kind of important and crucial to getting a tight guitar sound in metal production. So first off, why am I EQing already? This is an amp sim. This is not the final tone I'm going to use on this record whenever I reamp and stuff like that. Probably not. I mean, I may if it just sounds awesome with everything else, but doubtful because I don't think I've ever used, maybe once or twice I've used an amp sim on a file record. But what I'm doing here and why I'm doing this already is because I'm trying to train my ears a little bit. So if you can see, I'm notching some frequencies out. Of course, I have a high pass going on here, but I'm trying to notch frequencies out to train my ears to hear frequencies more sensitively. The more I hear them and the more I treat them immediately, the more my ear becomes inclined to hearing them. Not to mention when you have a client sitting right there and you notch it out and the guitars just immediately sound better, it gives your client a lot of faith, especially when you're at the home studio, project studio level, and you're recording bands locally and stuff like that. It's hard to gain bands' trust, and this, just doing things like this really helps the band go, okay, we're in good hands right now. It's okay. We can move forward with it. It gives them a little bit of confidence. So that's the reason I'm doing it now. Of course, I'll take this EQ off later and do for whatever that tone that I get later on, whatever frequencies are bad, kind of nasty frequencies there. I'll deal with those later. I'm just doing it now as kind of an exercise, a routine to get my ears more inclined to hearing those frequencies, because I do this all the time, and it's now to the point where when I listen, it's hard for me not to hear those frequencies sticking out in guitar tones, especially, or in cymbals, or in anything. And that's good. The more your ears can become sensitive to frequencies like that, the better your mixing, your EQ will be. And EQ and compression really are like 90% of a production. So what am I doing here? So let me take both of these out. I'll play them, and then I'll bring both of them in. So you can just hear it's kind of cleaning up the guitar. So how did I find these frequencies? Well, really what you're paying attention to here and what I'm kind of hunting down for is anywhere between maybe 1.5, really that's pretty low, but 1.5 to 5K maybe, just kind of this upper mid-range area where you're kind of getting these kind of nasty frequencies coming out. And you find them in guitars, you'll find them in cymbals, you can find them even in like the top end of bass sometimes. Typically with vocals, your vocals are going to live somewhere in this range. The clarity of them is going to live in here. So that's okay. But with everything else, it kind of sounds gross. So let me kind of exaggerate these real quick. So here's, where am I at? 1.8. Here I was kind of just sitting on top of everything. The frequency is almost floating over everything. All right, and so I notched that out. Frequency gone. It cleaned it up a whole lot. And that's given some of this weird kind of upper mid-range roundness that doesn't really sound nice on the guitars. It really kind of sounds unpleasant. Another one that I'm searching for is in the, there's the joke, that 4K needs to get rid of everything, needs to be gone from everything. But really up in this region here, there are a lot of problems with guitar, especially with amp sims. On regular amps, it kind of changes, and sometimes there's not really issues there. But really in this 3 to 4.5K region, there are problems. There's some very pokey frequencies. So let me exaggerate this and show you what that's doing. So just those two moves already, and you can already hear that there's, massive difference in the guitar. And so I'm bringing this up today because, you may not even, I know when I first started recording that I would just EQ guitars, I heard, be modest with guitars and stuff like that. You shouldn't be EQing them too much. And if you EQ them too much, you need to go back to your amp tone, and all that's very true. But that meant that I didn't notch anything out because I thought, okay, that's just bad EQing on guitar. It's not the case at all. There are frequencies that you need to notch out, generally, but it really depends on your source tone, and there's naturally going to be nasty kind of frequencies in there. And so what your job is to really kind of just boost these and then just sweep around, where's this thing happening? So if I play this, just kind of sweeping around and finding where these nasty frequencies are. And you're notching them out, and you're doing it at such a thin Q, being a notch, that it's not really going to be detrimental to your guitar tone. Now, if you completely scoop that area out and bring it all the way down, yeah, it's gonna be problematic. So generally, I go from anywhere between 5 to 10 dB, just notching these frequencies out. And it's going to clean your guitar tone. It's going to clean your cymbals, stuff like that, up a lot. It's going to be very, very helpful in the mix because the guitars will just sound more tame. The cymbals will sound more tame. Those whistly kind of frequencies that just are unpleasant won't poke through as much. I'm bringing this up because, like I said, I never really paid attention to this a lot when I was starting out. I was going for big picture stuff, and it's one of those differences that you'd never really notice until you start doing it often. And once you start doing it often, even if you don't keep it in the final mix, it's going to help train your ears. So what would my recommendation to you be? Well, just do this. Okay. And if it doesn't sound good in the mix, take it out, but just do it anyway. Do it just to see what it sounds like and what frequencies could be problematic. If they're not problematic, then don't leave that in the final mix. But it's a good exercise to get in the habit of, to really train ears to do that. I'm still doing it because I want to train my ears more and more and more, so that when I hear a guitar tone, if there's a bad frequency in there, I immediately know it. And so I think that's really important. So go ahead and throw that in your mix. Try it out on guitars. Try it on cymbals. It's another big issue with cymbals. You're typically going to find it from the 2 to maybe 8K region. There'll be some issues in the upper mids to highs. Try it in there and really try and notch out some stuff and see if it adds a little bit more clarity to what you're doing. I know some people do a low pass as well. They'll bring a low pass, down to 10,000 or whatever, 10K, or you can do that. It really depends on the guitar tone. If you're going for more of a djenty sound, then sure, yeah, go for it. If you're going for something that's a little bit more open, I'd leave that off. But really, these are almost crucial steps, and it's not always going to be 3.5 and 1.8. It's going to change every single time. But just pay attention to that upper mid-range. If you have something like the Fab Filter Pro Q2, where you can see a spectrum analyzer, or even the channel EQ here in Cubase, it's not as good as the frequency spectrum looks in the Pro Q2, but it works. That can help you a lot, really identify those frequencies. So throw that in your mix. Let me know if it helps you out, guys. Once again, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'm really actually surprised that 100 people already subscribed to the channel, and the videos have quite a few views. So that's really awesome. Please share this video around. Please let me know if you enjoy this kind of stuff, if you want to see different stuff, if this is the kind of content that is suited to you. I'm here making videos because people are watching them and people are subscribing. So just let me know what you like. Let me know if this worked for you or if you want to see any other tips, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much, guys.